In my last video, I mentioned a Chevy dealership in Paola, Kansas with a very large inventory of used Chevy Bolts. In this video, I'm going to Zoom with one of the sales associates at Victory Chevrolet GMC to give you more information. So I'm joined right now with Ty Hosmann from Victory Chevrolet GMC. And you have posted in the Chevy Bolt forum a few times over the last couple of months. Your dealership, Victory Chevrolet GMC, has a very large inventory of bolts. I checked right before we launched this Zoom meeting, and your website says 116
Yep.
Bolt EVs and one EUV. Now,
Yep.
when did you guys start getting these bolts in your inventory?
So I remember it was towards the end of October that we had kind of contemplated getting them because he had seen our main buyer is also the general manager of our store. And so he had seen that there was a whole bunch of them, that were mostly buybacks from GM due to the battery recall. And he said, you know what, I think that these might do really well with the kind of business plan that we have, where we try to be the most aggressively priced within 250, 500 miles, sometimes the whole country. So it really fit what we were trying to do. So he decided that he was going to buy 38 of them. And so he did. He bought 38 of them. We got them probably early, mid November. And then we really kind of just started going from there.
On average, roughly how long do those used bolts remain on your lot before they get sold?
Um, they go pretty quickly. Now, it usually takes from the time that they get to our lot. I'd say anywhere from a week and a half, 2.5 weeks, maybe it'll be gone. I think that's
So
the average lifespan of our bolts.
they don't hang around very long.
No, no, they sure don't.
Cool. And you're a sales associate there, is that correct?
That's correct.
How many of those bolts have been your responsibility as far as getting out on the road?
So I have sold since November. I've sold, and then this is including this month. I've sold a little over 50 Chevy
Okay.
Bolts. But the majority of that came in December. Last month I sold 30 just myself. Our dealership itself sold, I think, just a hair under 90 for the month of December. So I was responsible for 30 of those last month, and I think I'm a little over 50 since November.
Okay. So you guys are really moving quite a few of them out of there.
Yeah.
Um, does your dealership participate in the point of sale EV tax credit that started back on January 1st?
Yes, yes. And I was very excited going into the new year because I knew I had that to look forward to. Um, we do participate. It's a pretty easy process. The only really three things required to put into the IRS site. I have to have a picture of the front and the back. Didn't mean to do that. Sorry. A picture of the front and the back of the driver's license of
Okay.
the purchaser. And then I have to have the social security number as well, which not a credit check. I've had a few people ask me that, but no, it's not a credit check. We just put it in there. It'll say yay or nay, and we kind of go on from there.
I'd assume you'd probably just need that for income tax paperwork.
That's correct. Yeah. So there's going to be with that. There's going to be after we run it through the IRS site. There's going to be some. There's like 3 or 4 documents that we print off from there to have the customer sign, and then there's one more that says it's basically the IRS checklist of like to make sure you qualify. So we go through have them initial each of those three categories, those three stipulations to qualify, and which it's all income based. So every person has a better idea of where their income falls. But yeah,
Now, does that delay delivery of the vehicle at all?
only if we get the error message. So when the IRS site first went up and running, there were some delays because it wasn't functioning fully. But that has, for the most part, for us at least, it's not relevant anymore. It seems to be functioning properly now.
Okay. But you type the stuff in, and you personally, the dealership doesn't have to wait for the government to send you the money.
Correct. Yep. Yep. That's
They
right.
can just, okay, cool. Well, then
Yeah.
that's not really a delay.
Yeah.
Now your dealership is nicely located in the middle of the continental United States,
Yeah.
just a little south
Yeah,
of
I know
Kansas City.
it's a pretty good spot to be.
Yeah, and your dealership website mentions shipping is available. How does that work if somebody was in several hundred miles away and they wanted the vehicle shipped to them?
Okay, so it's a pretty easy process for the most part. So it all starts with me, obviously in communication with the customer. They choose a bolt or a handful of bolts, and what I'll do at that point, I will go find each and every one of them. I will do a walk around of the video, and what I like to do is I like to point out, everything that the bolt comes with. And I also, one thing that I like to do is include any of the flaws, cosmetic, interior, exterior, on that vehicle because nobody likes surprises. So I try to make sure that there are none by the time that vehicle shows up at your door. After I send those videos, the customer says yay or nay, or they pick one. After they pick one, we decide how they're paying. A majority of the deals I'd say have been cash deals, people just writing a check or, which I say that as more of like a phrase, but because the only way that we really accept money on out of state deals is money wiring. So uh, that is primarily, actually, really, that's the best way to do it because it's the fastest as well. So on
Talking
occasion, we'll
about like
accept a
Western
cashier's
Union
check.
or something like that?
Kind of, yeah. We'll accept cashier's checks on occasion. It's kind of case by case. We want to obviously see it, look it over, but those we have that will put a little bit of a delay on it because we have to verify funds have been received before we can release the vehicle, which is going to be the case all the way around. But sorry, I kind of went off track there. So after we determine how the customer is paying for the vehicle, um, they pay for the vehicle. We will email over some documents for them. They'll sign it and scan it back to us. Or if they finance with us, sometimes they'll have to sign it and then mail it back to us, which will provide a slip, a packing label for that. They just got to drop it in the mailbox. And then once we get all documents signed and all monies received, then I post it for shipping. And I'd say shipping is pretty quickly. I'd say anywhere between 2 to 5 business days from the time that we've got everything in house, money and the documents. I'd say 2 to 5 business days. It'll hopefully be there. I've had a few instances where that hasn't been the case, but there are some outside variables too. So
Obviously, the cost of that shipping is going to vary depending on how far it has to go. But
yes, yep,
is there any kind of ballpark?
yeah. So I'd say that the average is probably like 795, 895. Um, I
That's not
think
too bad.
the most that I've done, I think, is 1,095, and that was like way up northeast, like past New Jersey. So I've sent bolts to Alaska, and not me personally, but our dealership has sent them out to Canada as well. I'm not familiar with that process just because I haven't had the chance to do it yet. But we did send one to Alaska, and that was more so we got it to the border, and then they figured out how to get it there from
Get
there,
it the
if
rest
that
of the way.
makes any sense. Yeah.
Gotcha. Now, last week when I made my Market Watch video, I looked at some of the bolts on that are on cars.com that are listed from your dealership, and I noticed that some of them are at the time it was somewhere around 40%. That may not be the case now, but and that's old information. But
Right.
uh, they pretty much all of them said that they were factory buybacks, and you mentioned that earlier on. But about 40% said that they had branded title, and then the rest did not. Does that make any kind of difference in terms of financing that vehicle for your
Yes.
customer or anything?
Yes, it does. There are certain banks or credit unions that will not finance limit law buybacks. Um, I've seen that happen a few times. Another big question that I get is how will it affect auto insurance? And I have not seen it affect it whatsoever because a lot of people are worried that their insurance company won't be able to insure it or whatever the case may be. But yes, it will occasionally affect if a credit union or bank will loan money on it. My cat, sorry about that.
Okay. I'm at a conference. I'm at a hotel right now, so
Okay, I got you. Yeah, so that's the only thing I'd say there. We have a handful of really great banks and credit unions that do offer financing on buybacks, and they offer some really competitive interest rates too. So,
now since some of these are factory buybacks and lemon law buybacks, because of the major battery recall that General Motors issued, is it have some of these had the new batteries installed, or is it the software upgrade, or anything like that? And what kind of do they have any kind of warranty on them from GM?
yeah, absolutely. So I'd say the majority of them are going to have the software update, which for those that don't know, it's a limiter for the battery charge. It's 80%, and I've seen anywhere from 6,200 to 6,400 miles driven after the software update. But those with the battery replacements, it will come with a battery limited warranty from GM, which is going to be 8 years or 100,000 miles from the time that that battery was replaced. So, and that's going to go in addition to the EV component manufacturer original warranty. So you'll have both of those. And then the battery limited is just going to cover the battery from that time on. The software
Okay.
update does not reset the manufacturer warranty, but you still will have the original manufacturer warranty there in place. And if it is a buyback, because we do have more and more that aren't buybacks from GM, if it is a buyback, it's going to come with a 12-month or 12,000 mile bumper to bumper warranty. And that's good at any GM dealership in the United States.
So that offers the customers a little bit of peace of mind for it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Now, how happy have your Bolt customers been? I mean, have they've been in good moods, or have they had to
Oh,
call
yeah.
back and be
No,
upset?
no, they've been ecstatic. I had one issue on a bolt when I first started this, and it was a cosmetic thing that I just I shot it in the video, but it was the back left reflector was pushed in a little bit. It just needed to be brought back out. It was pretty easy. But for the most part, they've all been super excited about their cars. You know as well as I do that group. They're very pro Bolt,
Yeah.
as am I. So yeah, they've loved it. I haven't had any negative feedback, so it's all been very good transactions so far.
Good to hear. I love my Bolt, and it's glad that you've got some happy customers out there with Bolts of their own. One thing that we forgot to mention, Ty, if somebody wants to take advantage of this and get one of the used bolts that you have, how do they do it? What information do they need to know? Um,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, so you can find actually all of our Bolt inventory, and you're just going to go to www.boltcountry.com. We've got that. It's a direct link right to all of our bolts. And if you would like to work with me, I'd love the opportunity. Oh, thumbed up again on accident. Um, you can reach me at my email address, which is going to be THOSMANN at victorykc.com, or you can shoot me a text, whatever works best for you. And if I'm going to throw my cell phone number out there, I'm fine with that if you are.
it's your phone.
It's it's 816-401-8485. I'm happy to help however I can.
All right. Well, thank you again, Ty. And this time I'll really do the sign off. So,
Okay.
um, if you found this video informative or mildly entertaining, give us a thumbs up, and please subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching.